Dedicated, determined, dependable. This is News 10 ABC at 5.
Right now on News 10 ABC at 5, what is it about these Minecraft videos that kids spend hours watching? Well, we're going to look at not only why kids find them addicting, but why parents may want to keep an eye on them.
And a Gloversville mother in trouble with the law, accused of leaving her toddler home alone while she went out partying. What she had to say to defend herself.
Plus,
we cannot let terrorists take advantage of our compassion. This is a moment where it's better to be safe than to be sorry.
a political battle is brewing over President Obama's plan to increase the number of refugees allowed in America. A majority of governors across the country saying they don't want Syrian refugees in their states.
Good evening and welcome to News 10 ABC at 5. I'm Mark Baker.
And I'm Elisa Streeter. Thank you for joining us. We will get to our top stories in just a few minutes. But first, another tense night in Europe following Friday's terror attacks in Paris.
A soccer stadium evacuated in Germany after police say they discovered possible explosives.
Marcy Gonzalez is in Paris with the latest on the ongoing terror investigation and response.
We are dedicated to bringing you any new developments out of Paris. And for the most up-to-date information, be sure to head to news10.com.
Well, backlash in the United States after Syrian refugees' passport was reportedly found near the body of one of the suspects in last week's Paris attacks. Republican leaders in Congress are joining many of the nation's governors trying to figure out how to stop any more Syrian refugees from entering the country. Tonight, more than half of the nation's governors have vowed to block refugees from their states, including Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker. But Governor Cuomo, so far, silent on the issue. Local lawmakers, however, are voicing their opinions. And News 10 ABC's Ayla Ferone tracked them down today. And what did they have to say, Ayla?
Well, 10,000 Syrian refugees are expected to come into the United States.
Thank you, Ayla. As many as 120 birds and 60 rabbits, 12 goats, 31 dogs and 12 cats, all seized from a Westerlo home today. And now the homeowner, 56-year-old Nancy Wright, is facing animal cruelty charges. News 10 ABC's Lindsay Nilsson joins us now live at the Mohawk Hudson Humane Society, where some of the animals are being cared for. Lindsay.
Thank you, Lindsay. Well, we're following developing news in connection with a 30-year-old homicide, an investigation out of New Hampshire. In 1985, 2 bodies were found in Allentown, a female believed to be in her early 20s, and a young female between 9 and 10 years old. In 2000, 2 more victims were found, 2 females between 2 and 4 years old. Well, officials with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children say evidence found in one of those victims shows she may have lived in upstate New York.
Moving now to the latest on the federal corruption trial of former Assembly Speaker Sheldon Silver. A real estate developer testified he was kept in the dark about the fact that Silver was collecting a cut of legal fees from his firm. Steve Witkoff told a jury the once powerful Democrat asked him to hire a friend as a favor to handle tax litigation for the firm. Said Silver never told him he was splitting fees with the friend. Prosecutors say the arrangement was part of a bribery scheme that helped Silver amass $5 million in illicit income in 2 decades as Speaker. Opening statements today in the corruption trial of former Senate Majority Leader Dean Skelos and his son Adam in Manhattan. A prosecutor says Skelos extorted businesses to win Adam consulting fees and a no-show job that made him $300,000. And in return, the Long Island Republican backed legislation that helped the businesses. Both father and son say they are innocent.
A Gloversville woman is accused of taking off on a night of partying while leaving her 3-year-old child home alone. Police say it was the child's crying that alerted neighbors to the fact that something was wrong. News 10 ABC's Anya Tucker is live outside the Gloversville City Hall with more on what police are saying. Anya.
Well, I've obtained this criminal complaint.
Thank you, Anya. We're still ahead on News 10 ABC at 5.
So this is kind of new for us, and to them it's just what's always been.
Minecraft videos that kids are watching over and over again, not playing the game, watching someone else play the game. It's all the rage, but why? We get a preview of my special report, Minecraft Mania, coming up.
Plus, from city slickers to farm boys, 2 local men leaving the bright lights of the city behind for the quaint life on the farm. How the move paid off big time.
You're watching News 10 ABC. Dedicated, determined, dependable. You're watching Elisa Streeter, Mark Baker, and Chief Meteorologist Steve Caparizzo. This is News 10 ABC at 5.
Do you have a child who just loves to watch Minecraft videos? Not just play the game, but watch others playing the game over and over again. It's a real concern for some parents and for psychologists too, who wonder if children are so caught up in watching screens that they're missing out on learning other skills, like how to deal with boredom.
It's okay if our kids experience boredom. It's not our responsibility. It's their need to fill the time. And they can, if they learn to tolerate that discomfort, not on screen, but in the world it is, they'll be much better off in the future.
But having said that, if kids do watch Minecraft videos in moderation, there is something to be gained from that, he says. We look at what that might be coming up at 10 on Fox 23 and on News 10 ABC at 11.
A Sharon Springs duo has managed to get its small farm products on the shelves of one of the country's retail giants. You may know them from their cooking show, The Fabulous Beekman Boys. And as News 10 ABC's Mary Wilson tells us, you can put their crops straight into your cart.
Next time you find yourself walking down the aisles of Target.
Lisa likes the goats.
They're so darn cute.
Kind of fun. They're ornery.
I know. What a great story, though. It's so great to see success coming
It is. And from the city, kind of like Green Acres.
Yeah.
Let's check in with Cap.
Howdy, guys. Thanks. Nice night tonight. A little bit chilly, but let's face it, we had a pretty good mid-November day. If you want to see more on the cold weather, download our News 10 Storm Tracker weather app. It's free. It's just, you know, it's one of those things that you may not use every day, but you have it in case there's bad weather.
Good friend.
All right. Thanks a lot, Steve.
Still ahead, when Macy's officially unveils its Christmas window display Friday, some familiar faces will be peering out.
You'll be seeing Charlie Brown and Snoopy and all your favorite Peanuts characters. But what goes into making those window displays? We're going to take you behind the scenes and show you how they're made.
Love those. And at 5:30. Attorney General Schneiderman and FanDuel going head-to-head on the site's legality in New York State. So, can you place a bet right now? We have the answer.
You're watching News 10 ABC. Dedicated, determined, dependable. You're watching News 10 ABC at 5.
This Friday, Macy's will officially unveil its Christmas window display.
This is the 50th anniversary of the Charles Schulz Peanuts Christmas TV special, and each window will display a scene from the show. The biggest display will, of course, be at Macy's flagship Herald Square store in New York City. But 5 other branch stores across the country will put up similar, smaller versions of the same display.
Before the displays hit the windows, though, they had to be made. Artists at a warehouse at Red Hook and Brooklyn have spent the past several months carving several of the figurines. The 3D printers are then being used to make some parts.
We started the concept over a year ago, so there's hundreds and hundreds of people working on these. Here today in the studio, as you can see, it's many artists, many carpenters, painting, sculpting. There's a whole group that works on the animatronics of this, where the characters that you see will actually move and have movement in the window and have animation.
What a fun job.
It's expensive. I hope they never give it up, though. It's great.
Macy's officials say in addition to all the work that goes into the displays, they use 300 pounds of snow and glitter per window.
You're good with that snow.
Yeah, but then cleaning it up is a real mess. Here's some of what we're working on for 5:30 here on News 10 ABC. As a number of governors say they don't want Syrian refugees resettled in their states, a local family shares their fears with us. Plus,
if our roads and bridges are closed, our state cannot be open for business.
A coalition of raising public awareness about the need to repair the Empire State's aging infrastructure. What it wants the governor to do. We'll have those stories and Steve Caparizzo's Pet Connection for you coming up on News 10 ABC at 5:30.
Dedicated, determined, dependable. This is News 10 ABC at 5:30.
good evening, and thank you for staying with us for News 10 at 5:30. I'm Elisa Streeter.
And I'm Mark Baker. The attacks in Paris are creating a ripple effect of uneasiness across the world.
Many of the nation's governors are trying to figure out how to stop Syrian refugees from entering the country after a Syrian refugee's passport was reportedly found near the body of one of the suspects in the Paris attacks.
But one local family is speaking out today, trying to assure everyone that the majority of those trying to cross the borders are just looking for a better life.
News 10 ABC's Noelle McLaren joins us now in the studio with their message. Noelle.
Well, Lisa, the Al Rafai say that their family still in Syria faces violence every single day.
Thank you, Noelle. And time now to get you caught up on the day's other top stories.
The United States is set to take in 10,000 refugees from Syria over the next year, but a majority of the governors from across the country, as we mentioned, are concerned about that, and they are asking that they do not come to their state.
And now Governor Cuomo today saying he would allow them here in the Empire State. Local lawmakers also weighing in today.
Those who are concerned say it's not the number of refugees we could be taking in, it's how we make sure people already in the state stay safe. But there's no question that people in Syria need a safe place to go. And Governor Cuomo finally broke his silence on the issue, saying we need to do what we can to help those in need.
Soccer stadium evacuated in Germany today after police say they discovered possible explosive. Now, this as police are searching for an accused terrorist believed to have helped carry out Friday night's attacks in Paris. Meanwhile, France dropped 16 bombs at ISIS de facto capital in Syria, destroying command and training centers.
And nearly 200 animals, including birds, rabbits, goats, dogs, and cats, all seized from a Westerlo home today. The homeowner, 56-year-old Nancy Wright, is facing animal cruelty charges. The Mohawk Hudson Humane Society is taking care of some of the animals. The shelter's director telling us Wright has officially given up the animals. He hopes to have them in new forever homes as soon as possible.
New York's aging roads and bridges have caught the attention of a broad-based upstate coalition. It's pushing the governor to provide the DOT with as much funding as New York City's transit system gets. The Rebuild New York group gathered at the Capitol today to put pressure on the governor to provide the same amount, $8.3 billion over 5 years, for upstate infrastructure needs.
There used to be parity between investment and capital spending on transit and roads and bridges, and it worked that way for a couple of decades until 2009, 2010, when parity was lost. And since then, we've spent about $6 billion more on transit than we have on roads and bridges.
Rebuild New York says 6,000 bridges and 60% of New York's roads are in need of repair.
It's a wedding reception months in the making after a marriage inside of a hospital. Remember 4-year-old Abby Sales marrying her nurse, Matt Hickling?
Who could forget that? Now this weekend, the couple finally having their first dance. News 10 ABC's Nicole Hart was invited to the reception, and she shows us the melody of magical moments.
This is the video that started it all.
Give her that mic anytime. Well, 200 guests attended the first dance party. The money raised at the reception goes to Nick's Fight to Be Healed. It's an organization that helps financially and provides emotional support for pediatric cancer patients and their families in need. For more information on that or how you can help, we put a link to our website, news10.com.
FanDuel says it's temporarily suspending entry in paid contests for New York players. The New York-based company said the move follows its failed attempt to convince a judge to immediately block Attorney General Eric Schneiderman's efforts to shut it down. FanDuel says contests will run for New Yorkers who entered before 2:30 p.m. today, but they cannot enter after that. The company was forced to stop taking deposits from New Yorkers late last week, saying its bank and processors were deterred by Schneiderman's efforts.
A lawyer from a Massachusetts teenager charged with killing his math teacher says her client has refused to go back into the courtroom because he's about to explode. A judge ordered recess today when 16-year-old Philip Chisholm refused to re-enter court. Chisholm's lawyer said her client was shaking, twitching, and mumbling and told her he's about to explode and doesn't want to hurt anyone. That was a quote. Chisholm has pleaded not guilty to murder and other charges in the October 2013 slaying of 24-year-old teacher Colleen Ritzer. Earlier in the day, Ritzer's mother testified about the day her daughter was killed and the search for her when she didn't come home.
It was a bomb that brought down a Russian jetliner last month.
That official word coming from a high-ranking Russian official. John Gray joins us with details and the strong reaction. John?
Well, Mark and Lisa, the reaction, as you know, Vladimir Putin bombing terrorist strongholds.
All right, thanks so much, John. Well, still ahead on News 10 ABC at 5:30. Your full storm tracker forecast, plus Steve Taprizzle's Pet Connection. It's all coming up.
But first, you could soon have a piece of Saratoga history right in your pocket. We'll show you the new design for a quarter commemorating a big moment in American history that happened right in our backyard.
And if you haven't taken advantage of a program in Albany to get rid of your late fees for parking tickets, you are in luck for a little while at least. How long you can still dig into the pantry to take care of those late fees.
You're watching News 10 ABC. Dedicated, determined, dependable. You're watching Elisa Streeter, Mark Baker, and Chief Meteorologist Steve Caparizzo. This is News 10 ABC at 5:30.
Today marked an important time in history for Saratoga. The city's National Historical Park was honored through a quarter. But as News 10 ABC's Carmen Chow tells us, the quarter has a story behind it.
The U.S. Mint says these new coins represents the patriots who fought bravely and whose victory won in our nation.
Great history. Now, if you still have a parking violation and late fee to pay, good news. The parking amnesty program, Food for Fines, has been extended for another week. Albany City Treasurer Darius Shanafar announcing today the program will run through November 30th. You still have to pay the amount of the parking ticket, but that late fee will be eliminated. All you have to do is bring in 2 non-perishable, unexpired, and unopened items per ticket. Per ticket. Now, officials say since the program started, the city has collected more than 1,500 pounds of food and more than $180,000 in overdue parking fines. Don't need a flu shot, but don't have the coverage? Starting Friday, Ellis Medicine will be hosting a flu shot clinic for the uninsured and underinsured. The shots will be offered this Friday and on Monday, November 23rd from 4 to 6 p.m. in the Robb Auditorium at the McClellan Street Health Center. Walk-ins are welcome.
Well, time now for a look at the weather. I'm over here with Steve, and we got a great success story behind us, don't we?
Yeah, you know, there's so much bad going on in the world. You know, you love to have just a great local story.
We need happy endings.
Pet Connection. You know, every once in a while you get a pet on that has a unique face that you just can't take your eyes off of. That's the case tonight with this beautiful young kitten named Glimmer. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Pet Connection. And that's Pet Connection for tonight.
You're watching News 10 ABC. Dedicated, determined, dependable. You're watching News 10 ABC at 5:30.
A law enforcement think tank says Baltimore police fell short in handling protests and riots following the death of Freddie Gray. The Police Executive Research Forum released a report yesterday titled Lessons Learned from the 2015 Civil Unrest in Baltimore. It says Baltimore police did not adequately prepare for the riots, and it says officers lacked proper training and equipment to deal with an uprising.
A judge has lowered the bail for a man charged in several freeway shootings that put drivers in Phoenix on edge a couple months ago. The judge reducing Leslie Merritt Jr.'s $1 million bond to $150,000 after a his lawyers made an alibi claim that wasn't considered by the court that set his original bond. Authorities say they used ballistic tests to tie the 21-year-old to 4 of the 11 shootings on freeways between August 22nd and September 10th. The investigation into the other shootings remains open.
Well, Porsche says actor Paul Walker's fatal car accident in 2013 was his own fault. The automaker made the claim in court documents filed last week. Lawyers for Walker's 16-year-old daughter filed a lawsuit against Porsche in September, claiming the sports car he was riding in had multiple design flaws. But Porsche argues the car in question was abused and altered prior to the crash. The automaker also alleges Walker knowingly exposed himself to the risks involved in using this modified vehicle. Now here's a look at some of what we're working on for 6 o'clock. Lydia.
Elisa, next on News 10 ABC. After the Paris terror attacks, some lawmakers oppose the plan to resettle thousands of Syrian refugees in the U.S. Ayla Ferone tells us how New York politicians are reacting, including the governor, who's been uncharacteristically silent on this issue up until now. Hundreds of animals rescued from a local home today, when you can bring one to your forever home, and what charges the former owner is now facing. And Minecraft mania. What is it about these Minecraft videos that has kids spending hours not playing, but watching? News 10's Elisa Streeter looks at why kids find them addicting and why parents may want to keep an eye on them. Those stories and more next on News 10 ABC at 6. Join us.